Israel's gone beyond what is generally considered a proportionate response. But in terms of managing defence, the UK benefits more from buying technologically advanced Israeli equipment than we benefit from selling bits of equipment to Israel. So it is treading a difficult line.
The new Defence Secretary, Wes Streeting, set out his stall today, indicating his biggest priorities in his new office. He says he wants to ensure every penny is spent wisely, adding investment in the armed forces must come with modernisation. Speaking at Farnborough International Air Show earlier today, Streeting said his aim is to make the UK a strong, dependable ally, while also supporting jobs at home.
My responsibility as the Secretary of State for Defence is to maximise our deterrence and also to ensure that should deterrence fail, we have the capability to fight and to win. But defence is also a great opportunity for our country to realise the Prime Minister's ambition of re-industrialisation, to create good, well-paid jobs and opportunities for the next generation right throughout our country and to broaden the UK's industrial base.
Well, Streeting also unveiled Loyal Wingman drones as part of a £300 million investment, which he described as a groundbreaking moment for the UK's defence. Let's speak to Nicholas Williams, a former NATO and Ministry of Defence official and currently Senior Associate Fellow of the European Leadership Network. Good evening, Nicholas. Great to have you with us.
Yes, thank you, Kate.
Broad strokes first, what did you make of Wes Streeting's speech today?
Well, it was a good speech. It pressed all the right buttons, except he hasn't actually said how he's going to find the money, the shortfall of the money that Keir Starmer promised, except for value for money and making sure that every penny counts.
Would you take the job of Defence Secretary unless you knew that you would be able to meet the NATO spending commitments?
Yes, because the NATO spending commitments are projected to 2035. Healy resigned because it couldn't reach a 3% GDP.
This is John Healy.
John Healy
resigned.
For 2030. But he almost reached it. So I think there's time to get to the NATO spending targets in 2035. The biggest thing is the shortfall for the next couple of years.
Yeah, look, Streeting was pressed today on whether he supports the ambition of raising defence spending to 3% by 2030. He simply replied that fiscal policy is a matter for the Chancellor. The Conservative Shadow Defence Secretary James Cartledge questioned whether Burnham will increase spending to 3% in the current Parliament, or is it still a vague ambition? You can pledge, as Andy Burnham did as well today, actually, Nicholas. Andy Burnham pledged to honour NATO funding commitments without actually explaining how you're going to pay for it. And that is the issue here. You can pledge to meet it without paying for it and just knock the debt further down the line. And that is the concern, really. As you say, they need to front up in the short term, not just talk about long-term ambitions. Wes Streeting as Defence Secretary, are you inspired by that? Do you think that there are parallels within his health brief that could be good for the defence industry? You as a former Ministry of Defence official will know well what the shortcomings are.
I don't think that it's inspiring. It's a shuffling of the deck chairs in a way. And I don't think that the health service is anywhere near as difficult, as impossible as that may seem, anywhere near as difficult to manage as the defence budget. The defence budget has three major self-interested bureaucracies: the military bureaucracy, the civil service bureaucracy, and the defense industry bureaucracy, and they're all fighting for their own separate interests and inconsistent interests. So I'm not sure that the health service is a good example.
I mean, the health service has its own internal battles, doesn't it, between, matters at the Department of Health, what happens on the front line, and then the people who run hospitals. And it's understood that there was always quite a bit of wastage there because not every part of the system spoke to each other. You could argue health is a much more complex and diluted system. It's huge. It is the UK's largest employer of people. It is huge and vast and unwieldy and not particularly cost efficient. What are the issues? I mean, you've talked about the difficulty of trying to manage those three different areas within the Ministry of Defence. How easy will it be for Wes Streeting to get to grips, for example, with waste and inefficiency? That is something that the NHS can be charged with.
Well, everyone claims and hopes that inefficiencies and waste can be reduced, and probably they can be. But there are structural difficulties within the Ministry of Defence. One of them is that the military, for good reasons, always want the best equipment and modify that equipment even when it's being manufactured. The other issue is that defence industry usually underestimates the complexity and the cost of projects. And so you're always managing a moving requirement. And the waste, if there is a significant waste, is hidden within major operational decisions, like how much does a basic bit of equipment cost and what is this basic bit of equipment meant to achieve?
Is it difficult to identify what that hidden waste is if you're someone in the job as Defence Secretary who doesn't have a track record within the industry, within the Ministry of Defence, has no qualification at all? Does that make it easier? I suppose I'm asking whether it makes it easier for the wool to be pulled over Wes Streeting's eyes or not.
Well, he's obviously an intelligent politician, and he will insist that examples of waste are firmly suppressed and got rid of. But what I'm saying is the waste is the least of the problems. It's structural. It's all to do with the management of armed forces, not just the personnel of the armed forces, but particularly the equipment program of the armed forces.
And just briefly, what do you make of Wes Streeting today accusing Israel of falling short of British military standards in the way it's conducted its war in Gaza? 2 days into the job, he said he wouldn't pretend that he'd not previously accused Israel of committing war crimes. That was in a WhatsApp message to Lord Mandelson, the now disgraced UK ambassador to the United States. Do you think Wes Streeting is walking a tricky line there, or do we appreciate that honesty?
Well, I think he's walking a tricky line. Obviously, lawyers, international lawyers, are generally agreed that Israel has used disproportionate force in the legitimate task of defending themselves against terrorism, Hamas, and so on. But it's gone beyond, Israel's gone beyond what is generally considered a proportionate response. But in terms of managing defence, the UK benefits more from buying technologically advanced Israeli equipment than we benefit from selling bits of equipment to Israel. So he is treading a difficult line.
Yeah, look, thank you for being with us. Appreciate you answering that. Nicholas Williams, former NATO and Ministry of Defence official, currently a Senior Associate Fellow of the European Leadership Network. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.